debt once and for all without digging another financial hole. For more on this, visit bank.com. I'm Greg McBride.
CBS News Radio and CBSNewsRadio.com. I'm Tony DeCopel. Let's talk a little bit more about that variable that Bob mentioned and understand a little bit more about Fetterman's condition. We're going to bring in our medical contributor, David Agus. Before we get to the first question, we should point out you have not spoken to Fetterman's doctors. You are not his doctor, so we're talking generally here about the auditory processing issue that was evident in the interview. What can you tell us about it, generally speaking?
Thank you, Tony. Fetterman had an irregular heart rhythm called atrial fibrillation, where his atrium didn't contract all the way and was beating very quickly. And what happened is a blood clot happened there and traveled to the brain. Where it went in the brain, it blocked blood and oxygen from getting in, and that causes damage in the brain. This area was involved in auditory processing. That is taking words or sounds and converting them to words that the brain can understand. So he can't make that conversion well. Most of the recovery after a stroke happens in the first 3 months or so. He's at month 5. Can more recovery happen? It's certainly possible, but it's certainly not guaranteed.
So where would you say he is in the recovery process, and how long might it take before we know for certain whether this goes away or doesn't?
Well, we know he's made significant recovery. Wife noticed that his face was drooping and there are other issues, much of which have resolved, which is fantastic for him. At the same time, he still has this auditory processing that was evident by having to use this teleprompter or this being able to convert words into letters that he can read. So his graphical processing, the eye processing, is perfect. The problem is that auditory processing. And getting full recovery 5 months out doesn't happen in many cases. And so he may be reliant on these devices that convert words into graphical elements or something he can see and be able to translate in his brain. And so this may be with him for a lifetime, but we just don't know.
Yeah, and it'll be up to voters to decide whether that's significant or not. As Bob Costa put it, it's a variable. Dr. David Agus, thank you very much. We're the breaking news network you can take anywhere. CBS News Radio.
A CEO who likes to race cars. This is Jeff Gilbert with the Car Chronicles. That CEO, Ford's Jim Farley.
I think it's my yoga. I really do it privately because it really relaxes me. And I like competing. I really miss high school sports and allows me to do that. But most of all, it's the people.
People who don't treat him like he's a CEO of a big car company.
I'm a car person. A one-dimensional person. And I like working on cars all day, and I like racing them on the weekends. And so it's always pretty natural for me.
Farley says racing also puts him closer to his company's products. With the Car Chronicles, I'm Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
In the car, at the gym, wherever you go. CBS News Radio.
Call them what you will. Drinking fountains, bubblers.
It's always nice to, when I stop, to say, oh gosh, there's a water fountain.
But they're not always right there when you need that drink.
I've been doing a lot of long runs and been needing to find them as I run.
That's the exact problem Jason Berthoud had training for a marathon last week.
And so I went searching for a map and didn't find anything.
Figuring others were thirsty for a solution, he created the Dane County Public Water Fountains Google map last week.
Well, people seem to think it's a cool idea.
Jason's already mapped more than 40 exact bubbler locations based on what people sent him on Reddit. He says he got the idea from a similar map he found in Milwaukee.
There's nothing like, finishing your water bottle, planning to fill it back up, and then knowing that you have to run another 4 miles before you fill it back.
Jason says the bubbler map is going to stay up indefinitely so people can keep adding locations.
We used to have a lot of bubblers around, and they become less and less defined.
Cyclists like Robbie Weber are already finding his idea refreshing.
You may not have a water bottle cage, you may not be thinking about carrying water, and if you're exerting yourself at all, even if it's just going downtown for going to work or picking up groceries.
Sometimes we just go out, we don't know how long we're going to go out. If you don't bring water, she gets quite hot in the summertime, so it'd be really nice.
The brains of the bubbler map hopes it's a resource that can keep flowing.
Madison's a pretty fit and active city. I figured there's a lot of runners and bikers that are always kind of looking to add another bungalow to their revenue.
For the breaking news network you can take anywhere. News Radio.
Travel that's safe for your digestion. This is Soundbites, and I'm Alan Davidson. The best part is enjoying local cuisine, unless you're food intolerant. Maybe you're allergic. Maybe you can't handle specific ingredients. Or maybe you've got firm preferences. Whatever the reason, Recipify can help you travel and stay well fed. Here are over 5,000 dishes from across the world, all searchable using filters. You can cut out any menu items with allergens, anything you're intolerant of, or whatever else could spoil your meals. Just sit down before your trip and search the local cuisine. What to avoid and what you'll enjoy. No confusion with local menus, no long explanations, no uncomfortable nights after. Just travel with Recipify from nomadsj.com. With Soundbites, I'm Alan Davidson for CBS News.
When you need to know, turn to CBS News Radio.
You bring the cavalry?
Woman, I am the cavalry.
That's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, in the popular film series Fast and Furious. He's made quite a name for himself in the world of movies, but he tells Tracy Smith that his favorite role is Dad. In show business, or really any business, they don't come. He's the highest paid actor in the world, according to Forbes, and his worldwide movie totals are counted in the billions.
We're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender. I'm not peaceful.
And now, in a new film opening this month, Johnson wants to be the next big superhero.
His powers. Not a gift, but a curse.
In the DC Comics universe, Black Adam is a prisoner turned violent demigod out for revenge. Do you consider him a villain?
At times I do. Well, I consider him an anti-hero. But it's like reading the Bible. It's interpretive.
And it's a role that seems to fit him like, well, a skin-tight superhero suit.
I kneel before no one.
But it seems that Dwayne Johnson's real superpower just might be his humility. An only child, Johnson had the humblest of beginnings. His dad, Rocky Johnson, was a pro wrestler back in the days when road trips were long and money was minutes, basically.
We were nomads. We had that life. Up until I was 16 years old, we lived on the road. And I had spent a lot of my time growing up in the backseat of the car.
He went to college on a football scholarship, but injuries and bad luck eventually sent him back home, defeated, with only $7 to his name. Years later, he'd name his production company Productions as a reminder of where he started. But in the mid-90s, he turned to the way to pull himself out of poverty.
If Flex Cavana loses, he's out of the USWA.
Oh, hey.
Announcers need a wrestling name. You got one yet?
On his autobiographical sitcom, Young Rock, Johnson recounts how he started wrestling at WMCT in Memphis under the name Flex Cavana.
I'm working in Memphis, and man, it was a grind. 7 days, week after week.
I got some killer highlights. Let's celebrate.
Nice.
And how a friend named Downtown Bruno gave the broke future superstar a in his rundown trailer. It turns out the trailer park in Walls, Mississippi is still there.
Bruno, come here, man.
And so is his old friend, Bruno Lauer.
The Rock has came back to Walls, Mississippi.
Their old home was pretty much as they'd left it, too.
Watch your step, everybody. Yeah, be careful.
No worries. I didn't wear my heels for this portion.
I haven't been here since then.
You've not been back.
No, this is the first time back, so it's bringing back a lot of memories.
What are you thinking?
Tracy, I'm so grateful. Grateful to have a friend like Bruno. Grateful to have the opportunity that I had. And life is just so amazing. It can be, just truly.
Talk about amazing. Dwayne Johnson went on to be a huge success in the wrestling world as The Rock.